Hello, some brain injuries. Today is a story time about this, my small injured head. It is the story of how I split my head open with pictures. Fun. If you follow me on Instagram at Mikey, you already know that about a month ago, it was a little bit over a month ago now, I split my head open and I shared some pictures. But that was the very abridged version of the story. I am here to tell you the long one because I feel like if something gory actually happens to me in my real life, I ought to share it with you guys. Also, I try to take the best out of bad situations, and this has been a very bad situation for me, but I might as well make a video out of it. They say that YouTubers do a lot of crazy things for content nowadays. Add me to the list. Really, I just needed a gore story to liven things up. I kind of wanted to just tell the story as is, but since I don't usually just do story times on this channel, and by don't usually, I mean I don't, I was worried that you guys wouldn't want to stick around for the story. So I will be doing makeup whilst I tell you the story. However, I'm not going to be focusing on the makeup or the instruction at all, so you're in the dark on that one. Where to begin? Yes. Correct. So let me set the stage for you. Why draw out your makeup with a pencil when you can just draw it out by removing makeup on your face with alcohol, as I always say. Let's talk about the who, what, where, when, and why of this crime, okay? Crime. It could have been. I'll get there. The who, me, Bobby. This is Bobby. The floor, and my head. What? I cracked my head open. When? A little over a month ago. Where? I'm not gonna tell you yet. I'm gonna leave that for a little later in the story. Why? Either I'm a klutz, or I've got conspiracy theories for you. Shane Dawson style. Shane, let me turn you into a pig. That's another video. Side note. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. I was out of town to celebrate a birthday. Bobby's birthday. The place that I was staying at in this out of town location was your average hotel room, except that it had this one really cool feature. It had this really deep bathtub inside of a shower area. So it's like, I don't know, a quarter of the room is this showered bathroom area. There's a deep tub where like if I sat in it, it would pretty much just cover most of me. It didn't have jets or anything though, so it was just kind of like a weird bathtub. Come to think of it, it's less relaxing than the normal bathtub setup because at least with a normal bathtub you can lay down. You can't lay down in this one. Anyway, I wouldn't know because I get to this currently undisclosed location coming right off of me moving into a different apartment to escape the elevator noise hellhole above the bedroom and coming down with a horrible sinus infection. Went to urgent care a few days before I left for this trip because this trip had been planned ahead of time for a while. I was convinced that me having this awful cold, cough, sickness, whatever it was going to completely ruin this trip, and I couldn't undo the plans for this trip. Like I had reserved a room to stay in, so that wasn't happening. So I go to urgent care, the doctor's like, you got a nasty sinus infection, here's some meds. I'm coughing up a lung every 2 seconds, but I go on the trip anyway because I have drugs now and I figure I will feel better soon. Right? Wrong! Let me get some more accomplished before I start going off. So I get to this undisclosed location and I'm living my life. The first day is rough because I'm still feeling pretty sick. I'm still coughing a lot. But the second day, the drugs started to kick in and I started to feel normal for the first time in a while. So I start to do normal life type things. I try to enjoy myself. I try to like go places, do things, and I don't feel horrible. Things are looking up. I'm finally past this awful move. I'm past this sickness. Life is about to be good. And then well, you know, I'm minding my business, trying to utilize this cool tub that I will never see again, and I start running a bath. There's a few things you should know about me. One, I don't do baths. Katie, on the other hand, loves baths. Hates showers. I think she said to me like a week ago that she hasn't showered in like 2 years or something. Only bathed. Very luxurious. I ain't got time for that. So it's already funny that this involves a bath. When I hate baths, I don't take baths. Cool. Number 2 thing you should know about me. I'm a very cautious person. A lot of my friends like to call it paranoid. When they feel like being nice, they'll call it overly cautious. I appreciate their efforts in trying to make me sound less paranoid, but I am. I'm very cautious about my safety, my surroundings, things that can go wrong. I play out every bad scenario in my head often. If you've seen Hush, I'm just like her. I play out every bad ending in my head before it's happened. I'm usually one step step ahead of everything. I'm careful is what I'm trying to say. So, in my bathroom at home, I'm not at home. A lot of people were blaming me about not having the proper amenities in my bathroom, and that's how it led to this. And y'all just don't know I wasn't home to protect myself. Anyway, in my bathroom at home, I have not 1, not 2, but 3 bath mats. 3! Why? Because I don't want to do the exact thing that you already know I'm gonna do. Not only do I have 3 bath mats, I have slippers specifically designated for the shower area so that as soon as I exit the bath mat, I can put my slippers on and not be walking around with my wet feet on a wet floor. Ripley, can I help you? She just crawled up into my lap. Hello? Get out of here. I'm trying to tell a story. She thinks that this is her spot now when I do makeup. You good girl. I love you, but get out of my face. I practice good bathroom safety. That's what you need to know. The bathroom in the room that I'm in, however, has not 3, not 2, not 1, but 0 bath mats. 0. And the floor is very shiny and polished and smooth. Some kind of fancy marble or stone or something really ritzy, I don't know. But boy, am I glad they took the extra mile to make sure that that floor was aesthetically pleasing and didn't have an ugly bath mat covering it up. That would be sacrilege. I'm not bitter. So as you can imagine, I start running a bath. I dip my feet in to test the water temperature. I get out of the bath to grab something. I'm not sure what it was because it didn't matter after this. Oh, and here's the other funny thing. Before the second night, I was already kind of concerned about this hotel room floor. I had used a towel as a bath mat to sit outside of the tub, anticipating using it next. I was looking around and I was like, this seems kind of sketch and kind of slippery. And it's kind of weird that they don't have a bath mat, so I'm just gonna use this towel inside this shower area, which is kind of counterintuitive to just put a towel in the shower area. I came prepared, or at least I thought I did. I get out of the bathtub after I dip my feet in to check the temperature of the water. It's still filling up, it's not done yet. I walk from the bathtub through the shower area, and obvs, my feet are wet, but I'm walking at a normal pace. Everything is going swimmingly. I make it all the way through the shower area, no probs, and then I step 1 foot, maybe 2, I don't know, it happened fast. 1 or 2 feet. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that just exaggerates cough every YouTuber ever. 1 or 2 steps, it happened fast. I stepped foot onto the vanity area where the sinks are that is outside of the actual shower area. It's the same color. The difference, I guess, that I can tell is the tile in the shower, there's lots of small tiles, so there's more grout, or it's made of something entirely different, but it was much more grippy in the shower. I step a foot or 2 out onto that area at the same pace I was walking through the shower, no problem, and my feet go right out from under me. And it felt like slow-mo because the first thing I noticed is that my head bounced. And I immediately thought, oh no, that's not good. But I was not alone in the room. That's where Bobby comes into play. I knew that he must have heard me fall and he was about to come check on me. So what I immediately do is I laugh because I'm embarrassed at this point. Because like, haha, clumsy me. I fell. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking I might not want to go to sleep tonight though because I might have just given myself a concussion. I immediately thought that. I knew that I hit it really hard. I knew I didn't feel pain, but I mean, I had just fallen. This is going through my brain in a split second's time. And Bobby comes running around the corner and he looks at me, and I don't remember if he asked if I was okay. I don't remember if I said anything other than like laughing. Honestly, I'm telling this story to avoid having to play in more scar wax. The only thing I remember him saying, and he said it really fast, it felt like he must have said this within 3 to 5 seconds of me falling, and about a second after he saw me, he says, "You're bleeding." When I hit my head, it did not occur to me that I could have cut my head because I didn't think I had hit anything sharp on the way down. So in my mind, the only risk I was at was that maybe I had hit my head hard enough to have like a concussion. I'm still assuming it's not that bad because I'm not in pain. I'm conscious. He says that and I feel like he's looking at the front of me and I hit the back of my head. So that made me look down at myself and I had blood all over my abdomen already and I had just fallen. So that's when I go into panic mode. That's not true panic mode yet. I stand up. I start to go into some form of panic and I'm looking around at myself and I grab the back of my head and I feel my skull. Just straight up, my hand went right to the split In my head, I could feel how thick my scalp was, and I felt my skull. And I was like, it's time to go. we gotta go to the ER. Because, pretty much everything before that moment, I was like, oh, we can deal with it. I cut my head somewhere going down, like I must say something weird. But no, I was bleeding a lot, and I didn't know how big this split was in my head. The fact that my hand went right to it when I didn't have any indicator like where to feel, I assumed it was big, and I didn't want to stick my fingers around in there. I also assumed it was big because there was so much blood on my shoulder, on me, anywhere I could see. I didn't look in a mirror. I'm frantically looking for like shoes, socks, a jacket because it was cold out, my purse, while really beginning to panic, thinking this is bad, like this is an actual emergency situation. And I know that a lot of you are sitting here watching this right now and you're thinking about your emergency situations that you've been in, and a lot of you I'm sure have way worse horror stories, way worse, and you go through so much on a daily that is unfathomable, unfathomable, abominable, unconscionable. That's a word, right? I don't know, concussed. But hard to wrap my head around. Hard for anyone to wrap their head around. Just try to keep in mind that I have not been in many emergency situations in my life, and the only real time I've been in an emergency situation in my life, I was completely knocked out and I had retrograde amnesia, so I didn't even remember the moments leading up to the trauma. This is the first trauma I've really been through where I was awake and present for all of it to let my brain go wild with whatever it was gonna go wild with. So to me, now we are in the scariest phase, which is getting to the ER. Like I said, thank gosh I wasn't alone because I was able to get to a hospital quickly because of Bobby's help. Make sure you show him some zombie love in the comments because he was a lifesaver that night. I was insisting that we get an ambulance. I wasn't sure if I was going to stay conscious, and I genuinely thought already at that point that I might be dying. The only marker that I had to compare to was when I was in a car accident when I was 17 years old. If you guys have watched my videos, yeah, I'm gonna say plural. There's 2 videos on there. On my second channel, the first video talks about a car accident that I was in. I had a very severe concussion because of it, and it was a very bad accident. My only marker of head injuries at this point was that accident, and recovering from that was difficult. So to me, a severe concussion comes with double vision and memory loss and headaches and things like that, but it doesn't come with profuse bleeding from the head. It doesn't involve feeling your skull. So I'm already thinking this is way worse than just a concussion. This is way worse than a severe concussion. This is maybe me bleeding out from the head, and these are my last moments on earth. So I'm insisting that we call an ambulance because I'm conscious and talking and aware of what's going on. Bobby said that it would be much faster to get to a hospital if we just try to take a cab, and that is what we did. I wasn't gonna argue with whatever on this. I just wanted to get somewhere. We walked down to the hotel lobby, and there is a taxi waiting in the queue because they're always picking people up. I'm sure he was very happy to have me in his cab, bleeding on his seats, and I just kept applying pressure to my head, and I was hyperventilating in the cab, thinking, I can't believe this is how I go out. Slipping and falling in the shower. Not only in the shower, here's where I tell you the where of our story. In Las Vegas. I fell and split my head open in Las Vegas. The one place in the world where someone would read that headline, gory YouTuber dies after falling and cracking her head open in Las Vegas, and everyone would be like, figures. So now we're headed to a Las Vegas ER. But I get to the ER, I run up, and I'm like, I hit my head. I don't know how bad it is. I can feel my skull. I'm worried. The nurses look at me. They're trying to calm me down. I'm frantic. And they take me back right away. To me, this is further confirmation I'm dying. While they're back there and they start checking blood pressure and heart rate and talking to me, they're asking me questions like, what year is it? What's my address? Just to see if I can recall it quickly. While all that's happening, people that I'm walking past, the staff that I'm interacting with, were walking past, keep commenting on what pretty red hair I have. And I remember thinking, that's interesting that they can see the droplets of blood that are like around my towel. I'm just assuming that like my hair can't be that red because like I've got a towel on my head and I've been applying very heavy pressure to it for 20 minutes now. It took about 20 minutes from accident to ER. You'd think that there'd be a closer ER, by the way. I was right on the strip. Why don't they have an ER in the middle of the strip? Just a suggestion. It wasn't until Bobby took a picture of the back of my head that I understood why. So here's the first of a few pictures pictures. Brace yourselves. Oh wait, so quick side note. Here's the thing. I knew before I told this story that if I told this story on YouTube, you would want to see pictures, for those of you who haven't seen them already. I knew that if I put pictures of an actual injury and blood and gore in this video, I would absolutely get demonetized immediately. You know why? Because it happens when it's fake. Why wouldn't it happen when it's real? I now have to self-rate my videos and say when something is fake simulated injury versus a real injury, and as soon as I click that it's a real injury, I get demonetized. Or at least limited ads. If you got an ad. Yeah, but I wanted you to have the pictures because I feel like a story time without pictures is just not as good. The only reason I'm able to show you these beautiful pictures of my head injury today are because of our video sponsor, Function of Beauty. Please thank the crap out of them for me because I probably wouldn't have done this video if not for them, because you need to get the whole story, pictures and all. So let's talk about Function of Beauty for a second, eh? I gotta remove this wig because they make shampoo. Oh, you weren't expecting that, were you? My hair's brushed today. Yeah, I did it just for them. Let me tell you about them. Not only am I so thankful that we got a sponsor for this video, but I love their products and it is super appropriate to the topic, because we're talking about shower stuff. Another thing you should know about my shower, aside from my 3 bath mats and slippers, I also tend to have a ton of different shampoo bottles scattered about the inside of my shower, because I'm always trying to find the perfect shampoo. I go back and forth between ones that are for damaged hair, for volume, for lengthening, for color care. Sometimes I'll find a mix of those things, but I won't like the smell of it. And let's be honest, all shampoo bottles are pretty darn ugly. It's been important for me to try to find something all under one umbrella of the shampoo and conditioner realm, and I like cute aesthetics, so luckily I can find all of that in Function of Beauty. So Function of Beauty creates custom shampoos and conditioners for your hair type and your goals. Every bottle is unique, making no two formulas the same, and it's super easy to get started. It takes 2 minutes and a little quick quiz online for your hair preferences, your goals, what you want to achieve, what your current hair is like, where you want your hair to go. So you really get to mix and match everything. It's like going to a Chipotle for your hair. You can be like, I want some of this lengthening formula, I want some of this hair care formula, and I want it pink and smelling like a eucalyptus tree. And the formulas are full of good stuff and none of the bad stuff. No parabens, sulfates, toxins, 100% vegan and cruelty free. There's just no downside. My hair profile looks like this with them. I got straight hair, it's super fine, it is normal, and the 5 hair goals that I selected were to fix my split ends, lengthen, volumize, color protect, and thermal protect, because I want it to be protected when I straighten it. I want the color to last as long as it can. Lord knows I'm trying to grow my hair, especially over here. The color that I picked for my bottles was seafoam green. As you can see, they are cute and personalized. I'm a sucker for personalized stuff, so the fact that this says Mikey on the bottle makes me super hype. They do come with a pump even if you don't want to use it, but I use the pumps. You can even pick your fragrance strength. I chose strong because I'm trying to have my hair smell amazing. I'm using Feeling Pineapple for the scent. And this is currently available in the US, Canada, Great Britain, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. So here's the fun part. Click the link below in the description to get 20% off your first order. And now you're about to get some gore photos. So thank you to Function of Beauty for being our sponsor. Seriously, thank you. Anywho, I'm gonna put up my hair into something ridiculous while I show you a picture of my bloody head. Okay, ready? Go. Cute, right? Leave that on screen for a while. Let's just bathe in it, because I practically was in blood, dear. So anyway, this picture happened after the rest of what I'm about to tell you. Let me finish the damn story. I need to make progress on my head. All progress has halted. So up until the moment that I finally see the doc, I just assume I'm dying, you know? Like my life is over. I hope that they can get me into surgery fast enough. I fully anticipated I was A, dying, or B, about to go into surgery. I did not think that there was any other option. So I was mentally preparing myself for that. I should have texted my parents. I'm sorry, parents. I didn't want to worry them. You don't know what you're gonna do until you're in the moment, okay? My life did not flash before my eyes. I just kept thinking, how dumb. So he sits me down to look at the back of my head. We pry open my hair, which by the way, had been in a wig all day up until this moment, so it was like ratty like you're used to seeing it. And he looks at it and he calls out to nurses nearby that I guess are doing their nursey thing. We have a I'm about to sound like such a YouTuber. Looks like we have a centimeter laceration over here. I'm sorry, sir, a what? Did you mean 1,000 centimeters by accident? Because I'm pretty sure I'm dying. and my head is bleeding out right now onto your floor, your chairs, etc. Yeah, he said a centimeter. That was the moment in which I realized, oh, I'm probably not gonna die. Thank gosh. Not a bad thing to hear. However, I'm surprised. First of all, not true. I measured it later. It was a full inch laceration. He was cracking jokes the whole time. He was making me feel a lot better and making me think that I probably wasn't gonna die, which was great. Just what I needed to hear. Patrick Flores, thank you. Not like he's watching, but if somehow this ever gets back to him, I hope he knows. He said that we could do a CT scan to check if I had any internal bleeding in my noggin, and I'm thinking like, well, yeah, let's. And I told him that my mom was a nurse, and his immediate reaction was, oh, we should get you a CT scan, because she's gonna want it. She did, by the way. She did want the CT scan. So they put me in the machine, they scanned my brain. They said that they couldn't find any, so my bigger issue is that I don't have a brain. And I've been searching for one ever since. The end. Thanks for watching. My jokes have gotten better, since I smacked my head. I know. But luckily, I am very happy to say they did not find any signs of a subdural hematoma, but they told me to watch out for any irregular speech, confusion, bizarre behavior. Again, where is the line for me? What did we learn here? They did not seem nearly as concerned as I was. Part of me at first thought that they were just trying to downplay it so I didn't freak out and add to it, but part of me thinks it's probably just because they work in a Vegas ER. They see head injuries from people falling once or twice a night, I believe is what she said. And you know, I guess I believe that in a city like Vegas, which makes me really special. So unique. So cliche. Oh my God. That's my skull. In case you didn't know. Accurate to real life, minus the fact that it's apparently only this big as opposed to that big. But for all the blood, I felt like it was that big. Oh, so fun fact. Mikey's medical school. Have a seat. Apparently head wounds bleed significantly more than other parts of the body for some reason. The head just loves to bleed. I didn't know that. For everything I know about gore, I mean, I research using actual injuries, but I tend to go right for, I don't know, like crime scene photos when it comes to actual blood type gore for work reference. But I did not know that heads bleed more than other parts of the body. So that much blood coming out of a centimeter-inch laceration is not that weird. I wish I had known that before this incident because I probably would not have panicked nearly as much as I did. And really, if I show you the room and where I fell, I still feel like I was a few inches away or a different angle away from potentially having much, much worse of an impact. Or the worst, because this is where I fell. I fell right there, which is just a few inches away from that little step up into the shower area. And I wonder how bad it might have been if I had hit the back of my head on that little step up. Oh, I'm forgetting a giant piece of all of this. Silly me. What am I thinking? I'm not thinking. I'm concussed. Funny. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Stop the presses. What I completely forgot to mention is that... Yeah, exactly. I didn't die. I didn't have to get surgery, but I still got a gash in my head that's leaking blood. So what did they do? They stapled it shut. How did they staple it shut, you might ask? Oh, thank you for asking. Yeah, they decided to do it while I was fully conscious, awake, aware, lucid, without any numbing. So that was great. They took one of these, staple gunned my head 4 times. And you feel all 4, believe me. Getting staples is interesting. It hurts a lot, but at the same time, it doesn't hurt as much as I expected it to. I think it's partly that I didn't care at that point. I just wanted to know that my head wasn't gonna be bleeding anymore. If you've never had staples put in your head while awake, and you're wondering, it feels stabby, stingy, burny, and crunchy. You can like feel and hear the crunch, I guess, of your scalp just being stapled shut. It's a very weird feeling. So I went back to the hotel as my newly formed identity, staple head. I only had 1 more day in the trip, but that last day was a very long day. It was rough. 4 staples appropriately. While I finish this up, let's talk some aftermath of all of this. For everyone who has asked me how I'm feeling, thank you very much. It means a lot to know that you're thinking of me. I am out of the worst of it, I think for sure. I was really worried for a while that I was still in this limbo period of finding out that my brain's been slowly bleeding since the hit. This is the first week since the accident that I haven't had a headache every single day. The headaches were bad. My speech has definitely been messed up more than usual. I always mess up on my words, but it's been at a higher amount I would say for sure. But the hardest part has just been dealing with the mental stuff that comes along with a serious injury or a potentially life-threatening injury or the perception of a life-threatening injury. Anyone who's ever felt like they were potentially looking at death, whether you ended up being in real danger or not, thinking that maybe you are in really life-threatening danger is very hard to process. It's made me evaluate my life a lot since the accident. It's made me evaluate how I spend my time, what I spend my energy on, my focus on, my attention on. I practiced gratitude already before the accident, but it's only increased that. It's also been hard though, because I thought that it might be life-changing, where the very next day I had this new energy for life and I was gonna live every day to the fullest, because that's what people say happens when you face a traumatic experience. And that has not happened for me, and that's been kind of weird. I've been torn between feeling like I don't deserve to feel traumatized about this because I am ultimately fine, but then on the other hand, I think about how it's perfectly healthy and legitimate to feel like that was one of the scariest things I'd ever gone through, because it was. It's technically not the worst injury I've ever had, but because I don't remember the worst injury I've ever had, it's had a really profound effect on me. And having a concussion, even mild, sucks. It's painful, it's scary, head injuries are no joke, and I'm hoping that this doesn't affect my long-term memory any more than my first concussion has, because that sucks a lot. And the other thing that sucks is I fell on this shoulder, and a day after the accident, I started to feel all those pains from falling on that side. I figured that it was gonna go away really fast, because I didn't even notice the night that it happened that I had hurt my shoulder, but unfortunately, it's a month later, and I can't do anything with this arm above 90 degrees with any significant weight to it. So all of my fitness stuff, all of my bikini prep has been on hold since the fall, unfortunately. It's one of the biggest bummers of all, because I was just starting to make really good progress and getting to a whole new place. I'd never seen my body before. I kicked my ass for 9 weeks before that happened. So I've lost a lot of that progress. I've been stress eating because of how hard this month has been since. I'm playing catch up on everything else in my life and still getting settled into the new place. And I mean, a lot of this is first world problems, but that bikini competition meant a lot to me. So I will be back eventually as soon as I can use this shoulder. I'm hoping it's not a long-term injury and that I won't need to go to physical therapy for it, but I might. We'll see. I'm kind of surprised it's still there, because it doesn't hurt unless I start doing this kind of stuff, which, you know, I'm doing all the time in the gym. So like I said, there's two potential whys here. One, I'm either a klutz, a complete klutz, or two, there's a conspiracy going on. This is ridiculous, I'm warning you. I like to think about how long is this video gonna be? I'm sorry. I've thought about how eerie it would have been if I had actually died that night instead of being fine. Because somewhere in a parallel universe, gosh darn it, I guess I have. So here are the facts we know in the conspiracy theory in a world in which I died. Let's start from least weird to most weird. The first thing is I had people reach out to me via text earlier in that day that I haven't talked to in a really long time. So it was weird that they just came out of nowhere and they were like, hey, how are you doing? I feel like it's been a really long time. If I had died, that would have been weird. This is going great so far, huh? I had posted on Instagram for the first time in like a month on that day before it happened. I had tweeted that night randomly a reminder that I love you guys, which, not to say I don't tell you guys that I love you, but I don't usually tweet stuff like that. But I was just feeling the love that day, and I was thinking about how grateful I was for you guys, and I tweeted that. What if I had died a couple hours later? I don't know, I think about these things. But here's where the conspiracy thickens. One, was this some kind of crazy Final Destination type of twisted fate with foreshadowing? Potentially. I can't get over the fact, and Azambe brought this to my attention, I actually didn't even realize until they said it, and it's so funny. If you guys saw my Trends That Need to Die video from a little over a year ago, I literally fall in the shower and hit my head. Spoilers, because that's a fun part of the video. But yeah, I did that, and then I actually did that. You should check out that video, by the way, if you haven't seen it. It's a really fun one. So it's kind of funny, of course, that I foreshadowed my own hypothetical death. And then the last weird thing that I want to share with you. Oh, that's looking good, girl. Might as well get in my hair. I'll just shampoo it out with Function of Beauty. Thank you to our sponsors. But another very weird thing to me is this. Okay, listen to this. We're in the taxi going to the ER, right? Bobby makes a call to the hotel. He said, we had an emergency. We had to go out, but we weren't sure if we left the tub running. Could someone just check the room and make sure that the water's off? That's what he called and said. He might have warned them that there was blood on the floor, but he did not say anything beyond that, okay? Let's be real clear. here. When we came back from the ER, that blood was gone. And there was blood all over the hotel room. It was kind of weird. It felt a little bit like a crime scene where someone didn't clean up all the way. I found blood splatter, like fingerprints, my own, on a lot of archways and door frames that were in this room. Because I guess when I was frantically looking for all my stuff to go, I just kept touching things and I didn't think about it. They didn't clean up things like that. But they did clean up all the blood that was on the bathroom floor where I actually fell. It was still in the grout a little bit, but otherwise it was completely gone. Here's my question, Las Vegas hotel, who shall not be named. Why are you cleaning up blood? You don't know what happened there. You don't know if I got bludgeoned over the head by Ripley. You don't know that that's not a crime scene. And if it had turned out that we ran to the hospital and then I died, shouldn't someone be investigating the crime scene where it happened, where I fell, where I was bludgeoned? Luckily, I didn't die and I wasn't bludgeoned. But if I had been, I feel like that's a pretty bad protocol. To go in, see blood, and be like, oh, we should probably just clean that up and not ask any questions. They didn't ask any questions. They didn't follow up with us. They didn't call the next day and be like, hey, what was all that blood about? We totally cleaned it up for you though. Don't worry, we got your back. They just did it and didn't say a word about it. That's the first thing. I'm pretty much done this look, but you know, I got more to say. So we're just gonna keep adding some blood splatter. This is inaccurate. It would bleed much more if you did that. Suspicious item number 2. The day after my fall, it was suggested to me by someone that I should file an accident report with the hotel just so that it's on record that an accident happened there. And I thought that's a smart idea. If nothing else, I would like them to know that their bathroom floors are slippery AF and are really dangerous. Like, I'm actually shocked that they don't put out bath mats. So I file an accident report. I just detail what happened, you know, like the time, the date, etc. And I filed the accident report after I had been out walking around Vegas the next day. Taking it easy, but taking a stroll through the strip because I was still trying to do birthday things. Here's the weird part. I keep saying that, but I'm getting to it. I'm bad at storytelling because I just ramble. The funny part though is that I come back, I file the accident report, and when I go up to my room, there's a bath mat exactly where I fell, in the vanity area. It was not there the first 2 days of my stay in that room, but it mysteriously appeared after they stealthily cleaned up blood the night before in that exact spot. That could mean one of two things. One, they always have bath mats, they usually put them out, and they forgot to put it in this room, and then they were like, whoops, we should put that there. Two, they don't usually put bath mats out, but they've had them. It's almost like they put it there to be like, oh, there's no reason you would have fallen and hit your head here. I don't know, it's maybe, I could be reading into it too much. Totally possible. It could have just been someone who came in, cleaned it up the night before, and was like, they could probably use this. They're clumsy as fluff. It's totally possible. But in conspiracy land, it's totally that they put it there to be like, haha, this never happened, see? Anyway, I called them and I was like, yo, a bath mat appeared. What's up with that? And they were like, oh, they don't come standard, but if you request one, they'll add one. And I was like, well, I didn't request one, but thank you. I'm not the biggest fan of that. It's a little strange to me. But in any case. And the other thing is when I filed the accident report, they were like, oh, weird, we never have falls here. Katie has specifically told me a story about someone who's fallen in that exact casino that she knows. Katie, my roommate, works in Vegas. She said that of all the places she's ever been in Vegas, she's only ever fallen in one hotel in all of Vegas. Guess which one? The same one. For them to suggest they never have falls, I feel like is impossible because all of their floors are so polished and shiny and slick. And Vegas seems like the worst place to do that. Granted, I did not fall because of drugs and alcohol or any of the reasons that someone else might normally fall in a Vegas hotel. But then especially that's not the place to have your pretty floors. I'm just saying. Also, this is a fun thing that I feel like you should know. I read this and it made me feel some kind of way. And then I think we're done with this look. Okay, first of all, I'm just gonna link this article, I think, in the description as well, because it's so creepy, and I can't even sum it up. It, like, gave me chills to read it. But it's about things that Vegas doesn't really want you to know is going on. You know why? Because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Unless you're me, then you make a YouTube video about it. But I Googled Las Vegas deaths, because I was curious how often people die in Vegas. I imagine it's gotta be a lot. I mean, my gosh, there was a balcony in this hotel room that was so high up, and it had a rail to make it hard to climb over or fall over, but I can't imagine people don't accidentally fall over that rail. According to the Clark County Coroner's Office, about 1,100 visitors die while in Vegas each year. The Coroner's Office says 67% of those deaths are the result of accidents. 67% are the result of accidents. The rest is homicide and suicide and some other, I guess, stuff. And I know that that includes traffic accidents as well. But the fact that the nurse said that she sees 1 or 2 a night coming in from falling and cracking their head open, and that 67% of all the deaths in Las Vegas come from accidents, I was almost a statistic, a very cliche statistic, just because I wanted to try a bath for the first time in a long time. So that is my story. That is how I split my head open. The staples are now out, which, by the way, a lot of you guys told me that getting staples out doesn't hurt. You lied. It freaking kills. I feel like all 4 of them hurt going in, but like 3 of them hurt just as bad getting them out. 1 wasn't painful, and the other 3 was like they were going right back in my head. Y'all are crazy. I went in there like, this is gonna be easy, and then he's like, okay. Oh, and here's the fun part. In case you're wondering, again, just in case you're wondering, how many people couldn't get through the trypophobia video last week, and this week they realized that this is so much worse because I'm describing in great detail what it's like to have weird head things happen. When he took out the first staple, I had no idea how much the staples were actually holding my scalp together. I mean, I know that that's the purpose, obviously. When he got under that first staple and took it out, it felt like my whole head went and like readjusted back down here. It was really strange. Weirdest feeling I've ever felt. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It just felt like so much tension had been let go. I don't know what it looks like now. It's back there somewhere. So this is the current remnants of it. Today is actually the first day that I've done my hair since the accident. I've been too afraid to brush over the area since because it's still tender. But it looks good, and I wouldn't mind a badass scar anyway. This is how it looked when it was healing. Beautiful, I know. Shampooing my head was tough, so actually I feel a little bit bonded to Function of Beauty because it's a touchy subject for a while to clean my head. But yeah, still getting headaches several times a week, but not every day anymore at least. Still feeling fuzzy in the brain. Shoulder is still messed up, but overall, I am so happy that I wasn't dying. I'm so happy it wasn't worse. I'm so happy I didn't hit my head on that freaking step up. I'm so glad every single day that I'm here when I start to get stressed, I do think of that and I think at least I'm alive. I mean, not that long after the accident, I put Inception on in the background while I was just cleaning up the apartment, and I thought to myself, thank gosh I got to listen to this again. One of my favorite movies. You know, you just start to think about little things like that. And it's so easy to fall back into forgetting what it's like to be grateful for every little thing. And it sucks that sometimes it takes trauma to get there. And I'm still struggling. I don't want to make it seem like I'm perfectly okay. I try to avoid talking about it, mostly because I don't want to worry my mother or my father. I'm okay. Don't worry, ma. But it's been a struggle mentally, just trying not to relive the moment and the panic setting in and stuff like that. I have been anxious about it. I probably should talk to someone about it. And I had my first known run-in with sleep paralysis since the head injury, which I read is often due to stress, anxiety, PTSD type things. Unfortunately though, I didn't see any sleep paralysis demons. I shouldn't say that. I don't want to. But if I do, I will make a video about it. I will turn myself into my demon. My cupcake, I mean. Again, thank you to Dr. Flores. Thank you to Bobby for keeping me calm and getting me to a hospital. Thank you to my mother for dealing with my crazy questions at 3 in the morning, like, hello, my head hurts in a new weird way. Could it be a subdural hematoma? Am I bleeding from the brain? Casual things you ask your mom. Oh, and it was a very Glam&Gore moment because I showed up in the ER with a full face of glam running off my face. Gore in the back, glam in the front. Similar to this, just back there, and apparently much smaller. This has gone on way too long, I'm sorry. This video is 40 minutes long, and I could have summed it all up by saying, I split my head open when I fell, stepping out of a bath, and I'm okay. Thank you, zombies, for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye!